Hello, friends. It's your boy Jeff back here with you. Sorry, something there on the screen. Uh, we're back in the spin zone, and I've got 9 albums to show this time around that I've played since my last spin zone. Well, the one before, because the Hendrix one was the 70th one. So this is number 71. Before I do that, I just have to show one more thing that I picked up in the last week to 2 weeks. Since I've been doing the Barnes and Nobles, I've been trying to hit up as many of those as I can. Have my daughter drive me there. I've long wanted the Bob Dylan bootleg series, volumes 1 to 3. This was the first one that came out. So right after the time I bought the Trouble No More set, I was looking on eBay trying to find this because this had been on my wish list on Amazon for a long time too. But the price was just too high for me to justify. And of all places, I found this on eBay for about $25 or so less than the next cheapest one that I found online. And this, aside from, you got like a dinged corner here on the box, a little bit here. Aside from that, it's a five record set, and the records are all in mint condition, and the booklet is mint too. So I bought it. Like I said, I have a thing for these bootleg series sets by Dylan, and it's something that I've been kind of off and on picking up as I've been finding them and as I've been able to. I want to get the Traveling Through set that came out this past year, featuring his foray into like country music. But this set originally came out in 1991. I mean, the set list is very, very long, and it covers the era from his very first album in '61 all the way up through I think the Oh Mercy album in 1989. And of course, the seller mistakenly listed this as a first pressing. It's not. This was reissued in 2017. And it says right on the box, 1991 and 2017. I kind of figured that. Not that it matters all that much, but you have to watch your eBay sellers. They don't know a lot of them don't know their first pressing from a hole in the ground, so. But I'm still happy I got this. Like I said, the records are in mint condition. This will take me a little while to get through, but at some point down the road, you'll be seeing this again on the social medias and on the Spin Zone. So just wanted to show that off because it makes me happy. First up, we have Santana. This is his Inner Secrets album that came out in 78, I believe. And this has his cover of Well Alright. And where are my glasses? There was another hit off of this album. You can basically tell that Stormy. He covers Stormy, he does a really nice job covering it, and that's a great song. I love that song. Even by 78, even Santana was kind of hitting that disco groove vibe thing, but his guitar sound is timeless, and it just wipes that out. So it's not one of his greatest albums. It was still very listenable, mostly because of him and his guitar. And of course, the 2 songs I mentioned were great, but for the most part, this album was perfectly listenable and perfectly fine. I got no complaints. And this came from the stack of free records that I got from the seller that my dad is friends with, who gave them all to me. And that's actually the same stack where I've given out a ton of VCLT to people, like the Grand Funk album that I gave to Emma that she showed in one of her latest videos. That came from that pile. I still have some left. I probably have maybe 8 to 10 more albums, kind of in sort of questionable shape. But, you know, as people say, they're looking for stuff here and there, and I happen to have it. You can have it. Here's another one from that same stack. Toulouse Street by the Doobie Brothers. This is I think this is an original pressing, actually. It's the Green Label Warner Brothers, from what I've been able to look up. The cover is, even though the cover might look okay inside this sleeve, it's really not in the best shape. The record's not in the best shape either. If I ever came across a better conditioned copy, I'd probably get it. But, you know, there's a lot on this album that, I mean, this was basically the album that put them on the map. You know, Listen to the Music is on here. Rockin' Down the Highway is on here. Jesus is Just All Right. You know, I mean, basically the first, almost the entire first side is classic Doobie Brothers hits. So, yeah, it's a little more classic rocky, not quite easy listening, but slightly softer stuff that I played so I could listen to music with my wife, because she was having a issue with her hearing after her surgery. That issue has since been fixed, but still, Eric Clapton's Another Ticket is another one of those softer albums that I played so we can listen to music together. She's a big fan of Eric Clapton, as am I. And this album actually was in mint condition, still in the shrink wrap, still had a hype sticker on it, which is why I left it on. I normally don't leave hype stickers on, and you can see the price there from Sound Warehouse. There's the back cover, pretty basic bare bones cover. What's on here? Catch Me If You Can is probably his best known song off of here, and I can't stand it. This came out in the early 80s, you know, when Clapton was still stuck in that low gear groove mode. You know, you don't get all that many hot guitar solos. You know, you get some here and there. Mostly it's about the rhythm and the groove and, you know, the vibe that he's putting out with this music. Like I said, a perfectly enjoyable album to listen to. I could probably see myself listening to this again at some point. But, you know, if you're looking for his explosive guitar sound that you might know and love from like when he was in Cream or the Yardbirds, not really going to get that here. This is more or less like easy listening Clapton. Same with this album here, Backless. This came out a couple years earlier. I think this came out in 78 also. It's got the textured cover. And this one here has, I think Tulsa Time is on this one. Yeah, that's probably the big hit off of here. Tulsa Time and Promises. Yeah. But if you know those songs, you know they're kind of, you know, just, you know, songs. Not really bluesy rock like we like to hear from Mr. Clapton. You know. It really wasn't until, you know, Phil Collins came along in the mid 80s and produced a couple of his records that he really like kick-started Clapton into playing more energetically. Otherwise, he probably would still be making albums like these. And I'm not bashing it when I say that. I enjoyed this album too. Like I said, it was perfectly fine. It just wasn't mind-blowing the way like his earlier work was. So it's perfectly fine. Believe me, I'll play this again at some point too. Backless by Eric Clapton. Then, doing a little 180 from that is Steve Earle's album El Corazon. I saw Billy Hurst show this on one of his videos, geez, like a year ago, more than a year ago, I think. And he talked this one up and he sold it, obviously, because I picked up a copy. Here's the back. And I like Steve Earle. I mean, my wife, not so much. She didn't care for this album as much as I did. Neither did Jinx. She didn't care for it either. But I liked it. Let's see. Telephone Road, I think I heard Telephone Road a lot on the radio when I was when I would listen to XRT on a daily basis because they are big Steve Earle supporters too around here in Chicago. But the rest of this album I thought was really good. And I would like to pick up more Steve Earle. I've actually been kind of a casual fan of his going back to like the 80s with Copperhead Road and all that stuff. So, um, sorry about that buzz. I didn't mute my phone. Darn it. Anyway, El Corazon from Steve Earle is a winner to me. So, I like it. Another winner is Genesis' self-titled album from 1983. You can see this one is also in the shrink. Also has the hype sticker, which I left alone. Here's the back. This is one of those Genesis albums that is almost like a greatest hits album unto itself. I mean, you got That's All on here, Home by the Sea, and I really enjoyed Second Home by the Sea too. Illegal Alien, which, but Taking It All Too Hard's great song. Just a Job to Do, great song. Mama, which leads off the album. Monster Track by Phil Collins. Monster Track, I love it. And Silver Rainbow, Anthony Ferraro. I know you love Silver Rainbow. I loved it too. Basically love this entire album. So I think I only have Invisible Touch left in my crate that I haven't played yet, so you'll probably see that one pop up sooner than later. But this one is a great one to have if you're going to get I'd say if you're going to get any Genesis album, this will probably be the one among the Phil Collins era because there's just so many hits on it. It's ridiculous. Going back to the Doobie Brothers again. This is late period Doobie Brothers, One Step Closer, when Tom Johnston had left the band and our boy, the King of Smooth here, Michael McDonald, took over. Here's the back. And turned the Doobie Brothers from a classic rocking outfit into more of a blue-eyed soul type of band. Synthesizer and the keyboards become more prominent. Guitars become a little less prominent. And, of course, you have the great voice of Michael McDonald running the show, more or less. I think Patrick sings a couple songs here. But for the most part, this is Michael McDonald's band here, which is perfectly fine. I enjoyed this era of the Doobie Brothers too. Which do I like better? The Toulouse Street era or this? Probably the Toulouse Street era I would probably like better. But there's plenty of good songs when Michael McDonald was singing with the Doobie Brothers too. So that's a good one. Another one that I really enjoyed was this Albert King album called Truckload of Lovin'. And this, here, I'll show you the back here. This album came out in, it's a gold stamp promo too. This album came out, when did this album come out? Like in 1976. And man, this is a funky blues album. I really dug it. And I know you're thinking funky and blues really don't kind of go together, but Albert King makes it work. And it's all because of his guitar. Because he tears off some monster solos on this album. I know, judging it by this cover, you're thinking, what? What are you saying to me, Jeff? Trust me, if you come across this album at a record show or Goodwill or Half Price Books or anywhere else online and you can find it cheap, which you probably will, get it. Because I think you will be pleasantly surprised. Especially if you're grown up, so to speak, on, Born Under the Bad Sign era, late 60s Stax Records era, this album will surprise you. Very, very good. If you're a fan of Albert King, I think this album stands tall with a lot of his other more well-known classics. Truckload of Lovin'. Really good stuff. Really dug that one. Finally, we close out with the Country Blues of John Lee Hooker. This was something that I got for my birthday that I bought when I got an Amazon gift card from my mother-in-law for my birthday. So this was one of the albums that I bought for myself. Here's the back. This is a reissue from his 1959 release. And this is all solo acoustic blues by John Lee. There's no electric guitar here. And I have to say that it kind of took something away from his sound. Because, you know, listening to other albums of his where it's just him and a guitar singing, it's usually an electric guitar. And he's able to get so much more power out of his sound in that style. This is less so. I mean, it was good, don't get me wrong. His voice is still strong. It still sounds like John Lee Hooker album. But the acoustic guitar just, it didn't convey enough power. They all started to sound the same after a while, the songs. Especially by the time I got to side 2. And we played this one the same day we played the Albert King that I just showed. And even my wife, she really liked the Albert King. This one, she really didn't care for all that much. And by the time I got to like the middle of side 2, I was like, all right, I think I'm ready for this album to be over. I know it sounds kind of like heresy to say that about a John Lee album, you know, for blues fans, but it's not my favorite. I'm sorry. The sound on it was great. You know, this was a brand new copy, so there were no issues there. It wasn't warped or anything. The pressing was great. You know, it was remastered by Kevin Gray, so you know it's going to sound great. But the music itself left me wanting. Left me wanting him playing electric guitar. You know, if he did these songs over again with an electric guitar, I think I would have liked this a whole lot better. That's just my opinion. You know, I'm still a big fan of John Lee. I always look for his albums wherever I can find them. They don't turn up all that often in the wild. You know, and I've slowly been picking up some reissues, of which this is one, but wasn't a huge fan of this album. And it really kind of surprised me because I was really looking forward to playing this. And after listening to it, I was just kind of like, it was just okay. So, there you go. All right. Those are the records that I've listened to here over the last week or two. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I have a contest going on right now, currently. It's called the 70/700 contest, celebrating 70 of these spin zones and 700 subscribers, of which I already have more than 700. So check that video out. And if you're so inclined, get into the contest. You could win a nice prize. And it's easy. It's only 3 questions. So check that out. Get in the game. And make sure you post the comment if you make a video for that contest in the contest video. Tell me you've posted something on that video's comments so I can find it easily and I can add you to the list of entrants. Okay. Love you all. Hope you're doing well. Early February here. Till next time, peace. It's your boy Jeff, and I'll see you again soon.